And good morning, guys. How are you doing? So, this is going to be slightly different. Normally, we would have Monday mantras and wake up Wednesday, Wednesday wake up, and Friday freedom. So, what I've done is I'm doing a whole rejig. So, things are going to be slightly different in that on this group, what I'm going to do is on Monday morning at 7:30 UK time, I'm going to come on here and talk about components that you need for trading success. So it's going to be topics around trading success that are not directly related to mindset. That I'm going to move over to my Judy V page, which is around mindset, relationship with money, which is crucial to have a really good relationship with money and wealth and yourself when you are trading. And so a lot of that, all that type of topics will be covered over on that page. But going forward, we this page, the lives on this will be all about rather strictly for trading success. Okay, so I shall be sharing shortly the details of the lives that are on Judy V and when they are and what the topics are, but I'll share those with you shortly. But for now, it'll be Monday mornings, 7:30 every week here for trading success. Okay, so but today what I want to talk about is trading objectives. Okay, and that is something that's, I think, one, not really known an awful lot about by a lot of retail traders, not something that is considered an awful lot. We all know what a trade plan is, and we know that about 95% of traders don't have a trade plan. Okay, but if you're in the tribe, you definitely have a trade plan, don't you? Okay, so in the tribe of traders, we definitely trade with a trade plan. But out there in the big wide world of trading, a lot of traders don't have a trade plan. Now, your trading objectives come from your trade plan, okay, or they are an important component, rather, I should say, of your trade plan. But trading objectives is not something that's really thought about too often. And I think it's largely as a result of it's not really taught. You know, what does it mean? What is a trading objective? What exactly does that mean? And it's quite simple. It's like you have to have a goal for your trading, right? You've got to have a goal, right? You've got to have like a financial goal. You've got to have a time frame goal. You've got to have a process goal. All of these things you need to have. Okay, if you haven't got them, then stop, take a step back and start doing them. And then from your goals, you extrapolate the objectives. Okay, so you know, what are your objectives for your trading to achieve your goals? Okay, so what are they? And some of the things you need to consider are topics like you need to work to your strengths. So you need to trade to your strengths. What are your strengths? You need to know what they are. You need to know what your strengths are. Equally, you need to know what your weaknesses are. Okay, and like I know a lot of people say, and there's a school of thought that says, you know, you've got to overcome your weaknesses and stuff like that. And for me, to be honest with you, I accept my weaknesses. I'm okay with my weaknesses, and you know, like for example, the classic weakness I have is that I have prejudices with some currencies. Okay, it's like euro pound, for example. I can't trade euro pound for love nor money. Okay, I just can't, and I have a prejudice there because like it's the whole euro thing and the pound, and you know, I mean, this is long before Brexit. Okay, long before Brexit. I've always had an issue trading euro pound, and it's just been an issue for me, and that's a weakness, and I'm okay with that. You know, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to try and overcome it. Okay, I know it is a weakness. I know it I know that it's stupid. Okay, it is. And but you know what, it is what it is, and there are plenty of other instruments for me to trade. So know what your weaknesses are, accept them. And you know the beautiful thing of knowing what your weaknesses are as well, the beautiful thing about that is that you start to learn to accept yourself, warts and all, and stop beating yourself up. Because that we tend to try and run away from our weaknesses or try and fix our weaknesses, because it's like assuming that there's something wrong. They are what they are. Accept them. Okay, it's okay. Work to your weakness as much as you work to your strengths. So I work to my weakness by not trading euro pound and trading other instruments that I don't have prejudices with. In fact, I am indifferent about. Right? They're just there for me to take money from the market. And I think that's important. I think that's very important. Therefore, I can focus all my energy on my strengths. So, like, I'm very clear about the instruments that I love trading. I love pound Swiss. I love euro Swiss. I love Aussie Kiwi. It's funny the type of instruments that I do love. I focus my energies on what my strengths are, instead of wasting energy trying to overcome my weakness. So be very clear about what your strengths are, and work to those strengths. Okay, accept the weaknesses, because that's what makes you perfect. Okay, it's the weaknesses and the strengths together that makes you who you are. Okay, the other one is that's the first objective, is that your strategy you trade needs to match your strengths. It needs to give you the opportunity to match your strengths. Okay. So, like, for example, I don't need to trade euro pound, because there are plenty of other instruments for me to trade on the strategy that I trade. Okay, or the strategies that I trade. There are plenty of other instruments for me to use. So that's okay. So as the other one is, so be clear to assess the strategy to your strengths. Be clear that the strategy supports your strengths. Okay, for everyone, they're going to be very different. They're going to be very different, and you know what they are. You're going to know what they are. And the other thing is, as well, is being in the market is about give and take. Okay, it's very important to understand that. So your objectives need to understand that it's okay to give to the market. And if you get emotional when you're giving to the market, well, that's not going to support your objectives, is it? It's not going to support your goals. Okay, it's going to impact. You're going to bring in the emotion from your previous trade where you gave to the market into the next trade. So get okay with the market being all about give and take. And the more you are okay with it, I know it sounds ironic, but the more you are okay with it, the more, in actual fact, you will take from the market, and then the less you will give. Okay, as Warren Buffett says, if you can't manage your emotions, you can't manage money. If you can't manage your emotions in trading, oh my gosh almighty, you're going to be giving to the market plenty. Okay, so make sure that you understand that the market is give and take. Or another way of saying it, that the way I like to see it, is it's fair exchange. Okay, I can't expect to take part in the market if I'm not prepared to pay a price for it. And that's why I say, in the Tribe of Traders, the way we trade is we model the genius trading model. Okay, and the first component of that model is trade as a business. And as trading as a business, we understand that when we give to the market, it is nothing more than cost of sales. And when you can start seeing it in a business context like that, you don't get emotional about it. Therefore, you don't bring in the emotions from the previous trade into your next trade, which then, when you do that, it impacts what you are seeing in the market, because then you're trying to be right, and the market's always right. And it's not about you being right. It's not about me being right. It's about the market doing what the market does. And the more you are open to accepting that, the more you'll be able to see what the market is actually showing you, rather than what you are trying to see in the market, which leads to you curve fitting your strategy to the market, to the chart, to the instrument. Okay. And what I mean by curve fitting is that you will then try and you'll see things that are not actually really there, and you will try and force your strategy into a chart pattern that is actually not ideal for your strategy. Okay, that is just one of those things. It's like, it's another way of saying it is you're projecting your beliefs onto the market, because those beliefs are now emotionally driven rather than, open-minded, being willing to receive the information, or what I call simultaneously assimilate what the market is telling you. That's, the only way you can actually do that is when you're not bringing emotion to the trading, okay, to the market. So that's a very important point, is to assess the strategy to your strengths and understand that being in the market is about give and take. The other thing as well about your objectives is to get to your goal, right? And excuse me, to get to your goal and to and you've got a strategy. How much time do you have to put into trading in a day, in a week, in a month, whatever it is, depending on how you trade? How much time do you have to put into trading, and how much time does the strategy require? It's a very important point, and that impacts your time frame you're trading. It impacts the type of strategy that you're trading. Is it a breakout strategy that you're trading, and does it only happen on certain market times? Or are you? And if that's the case, like for example the German 30, there's a breakout strategy some people trade, and if you have to be at the charts at that time, does that 100% work for you, or are you trying to curve fit your life around the strategy? Okay, it's an important point. The strategy needs to work to your objectives, not the other way around. Not you need to work to the strategy needs to work to your objectives. That's a very important point. So make sure whatever strategy you're trading works to your objectives, works to your lifestyle, works to your requirements. Okay, does it give the opportunities with a time frame that you have to trade? Another very important point, okay, on that, it's a bit of a segue, is that monitor the amount of time you're putting into the charts as well, into your trading, because the more time you're putting into it, the lower you are lowering your return on investment in that trading. Okay, in your trading, you're lowering your return on investment. Now, return on investment is measured in two ways with trading. One is obviously the returns you get at the end of the month. Is it 1%, 5%, 10%? What are the returns that you get at the end of the month? That's the one. The second one is the return on your time, because your time has a value. In fact, your time is your most valuable asset, but your time has a value. What is that value? When you work, when you're employed or self-employed, you have your own businesses, whatever it is, what is the value of your time? How much of that time are you putting into trading? What is your return on investment of that time? Okay, so be very mindful of that. Too many traders spend too much time trading, or should I rather say, in front of the charts. Okay, it's not about the amount of time you spend in front of the charts, it's about the quality of time you spend in front of the charts. So your objectives to get to your goal, reverse engineer how much time are you going to put into trading, a day, a week, a month. Okay, be very clear about that, and only have that time, only use that time. That will stop you from overtrading. It will stop you from getting desperate about your trading. It will stop you from gambling. So it's a very important component point to success in trading, a very important point to marrying your strategy to your objectives. The other thing as well is, as it's very important to have entry rules. Like we put a lot of emphasis on getting into trades, but be very clear about your objectives in terms of staying in a trade. How long are you going to stay in a trade for? How much is it costing you to stay in that trade? What is the chart pattern that's going to indicate to you that actually you're in this trade, but it's not going quite the way you had anticipated when you got in? What are your exit requirements? What are your exit rules? Are you going to stay in a trade? When you put a trade in, is that it? Are you going to stay in it? Be clear about that. And if that's the case, that's okay, but be clear about it and be consistent about it. Or are you going to have exit rules beyond your stop loss, right? Because obviously that's one that every single person has, I'm sure, a stop loss, right? That's the one exit rule, but do you have another one? Do you have an indicator or some sort of way of monitoring that if the trade's not doing, or if the behavior of price action is not doing the way that you had anticipated, do you have an exit rule? If it's taking, like, we're forex traders, day traders, we're not investors, we're traders. So I mean, do you want to be in one currency in one trade for like 2 weeks and it's just going nowhere? I mean, very little is going like 2 to 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is incrementally growing to 1. Brilliant. Let's go with it. Let your profits run, but cut your losses. Okay, so what is your exit strategy? Are you going to be sitting at a trade that's just barely at 1-to-1 or just barely breaking even, and it's just plodding along day in, day out, week in, week out? I've heard of people being in a trade for like 22 days. I mean, we're day traders. I mean, really, do you want to be in a trade for that long and it's going nowhere? It's gone like 10 pips, 15 pips, whatever. Get out, free up your leverage. Okay, again, it's about being clear about what your objectives are. Okay, being clear about your objectives will by default increase your ROI on your trading, because you'll be very clear about, okay, I'm in that trade, it didn't do what I want, okay, do I want to stay in it? Yes, no, yes, okay, great. If not, get out, get into another trade. Okay, it's your decision making is a lot quicker. Make sure that you're clear about your objectives. Your objectives come from your goals, and then make sure that the objectives, that your strategy, your trading marries your objectives. Okay, very important, a critical part of trading success. All right, guys, take care, and I shall catch you next Monday. If you're not in the trading community, come and join us. I'll post the link here. The trading community, we will be doing a deep dive on Friday mornings. Every Friday morning, we do a deep dive in the trading community at 7 a.m. and we'll be talking more about this topic. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.